I know most of you watching this video already own the cryptocurrency called KAS, and I imagine most of you are super bullish on this cryptocurrency. But I also wonder, do all of you actually know how big of a deal the crypto called KAS is? Because if you don't understand what you are holding, then there's a risk you might sell it a little bit too early. In this video, I'm going to share with you why KAS is so revolutionary, why KAS has been in the pipeline for over a decade, and I'm going to share what all the top minds in crypto have been saying about KAS for the last decade. I recently made a video explaining why KAS is such a revolutionary crypto, so I'm not going to go into detail on all of that information in this video, but I'll link that other video at the end of this one, just in case you want to watch it. But basically, there are a few things you need to understand about KAS for this video to make sense. Bitcoin was created in 2009 by an unknown person using the fake name Satoshi Nakamoto. Now, it was an amazing technological development, but it was flawed because of something called the blockchain trilemma. Then in 2013, a team led by Vitalik Buterin created a project called Ethereum. The Ethereum white paper included ideas from a man called Jonathan Sompolinsky, who developed an idea called the Ghost, which in theory would make a blockchain super scalable and would solve the trilemma. Most of the Ethereum developers left the Ethereum project and began projects of their own. The development team included Charles Hoskinson, who went on to create Cardano, Gavin Wood, who went on to create Polkadot, while other developers moved on to projects like Casper, which is not to be confused with Kaspa. All of these projects attempted to find a way to bring Jonathan Sompolinsky's Ghost idea to life and to create a project that solved the trilemma. Other projects like Solana, ICP and IOTA all worked on finding ways to solve the trilemma. All these projects became very successful, and most of these projects increased massively in value based on their attempts to solve the trilemma. But none actually managed to solve the trilemma. During this time, Sompolinsky was working in the background on the Ghost protocol and developed it into something called Spectra. And then he developed the protocol into its final phase called the Phantom Ghost Stack. With this development, Sompolinsky managed to do what none of these other project creators could do. He solved the trilemma. Sompolinsky then created a project called Kaspa and the crypto called KAS. This was the crypto project that brought Sompolinsky's trilemma solution to life. Now, considering the success that the projects like ICP, Polkadot and Cardano had without managing to solve the trilemma, imagine the success that KAS is about to have. Not only does KAS solve the trilemma, but it is nearly smart contract ready, meaning a whole ecosystem will soon be built on top of the KAS network, which has generally propelled crypto projects to market caps that are extremely super high. So what I'm going to do now is share some of the top minds in the crypto universe talking over the last decade. And you're going to see them talking before KAS was launched, and in some cases you will see them talking before they even launched their own projects. You will hear these top minds talking about the KAS creator, Sompolinsky, and although they won't name the KAS project by name, because it wasn't created by then, you will hear them talking about a potential project that will end up being the Kaspa network. So what I want you to take from watching this video and listening to these crypto geniuses talking is the realization of what you own with Kaspa. This is a project that has been in the making for over a decade, and it is the solution that all the other top projects in the crypto industry have been trying to create.
To start with and a really rigorous inquiry.
I mean, it's extremely fascinating. I would say this is the most fascinating protocol out there.
It things down. It doesn't damage throughput or security. So this was a line of researchers starting in Israel under two people, Avi Zohar and Yonatan Somolinsky.
What year did that come out?
And the first paper was called Ghost, and it came out 2013. And actually, we included Ghost, a version of it, in the Ethereum protocol. So later on, what they did is they built up the theory, they built up the rigor, and they created a new version of the protocol called Spectre, which came out in 2016.
Right.
And they've been since iterating and refining and thinking carefully about the model.
Putting all that work into, creating a DAG. I mean, that's something that you're really serious about implementing. I had
thousands of transactions per second, low latency, confirmation times. It's basically like an order of magnitude performance.
Yeah, we have rewards for mining blocks. Actually, the rewards for mining blocks in Ethereum are a bit sort of better. They use what's called the ghost algorithm, which basically means in Bitcoin you might have the case where a bunch of people mine the block all at the same time, and only one actually gets rewarded because only one makes it into the blockchain. Well, in Ethereum, they all get rewarded. They get rewarded slightly less if they're a bit late, but they still get rewarded. So you end up with a slightly more of a reason to mine. Isn't the ghost algorithm created by who, sorry? The FSB, that's the Russian Secret Service. Well, if they created it, they did us a good favor. Thanks.
And we try to build on top of the ghost consensus and our new gas consensus and ordering algorithm in Count blocks achieve a high performance, safety, and aliveness guarantees.
Brilliant.
There's a guy named Aviv Zohar who's written some great papers. One of them is on Ghost, which is what Ethereum is based on. And he's got a follow-up to that whose name escapes me. And he's also co-authored a great paper on attacks against Bitcoin from the underlying network. So he's one of the experts on the security of Bitcoin, which is a skill and knowledge set in scarce supply. So
Briefly, what we want to do is we want to research Spectre, which came from Avi Zohar and Yonatan Samoplinski, and extract from Spectre a specification and see if we can pull it into a production cryptocurrency like Zencash.
No, that's not the CPU floor, Spectre.
No, Spectre's a little bit older. So Spectre, the upgrade for Ghost. That's the problem is that you come up with a super cool name for your product. Somebody steal your damn names for it. If you Google Spectre Avi Zohar, AVI ZOHAR, basically it's the upgrade of the prior work that they did, which was Ghost, which was what we used in Ethereum. The point is that you can make many blocks in parallel and that you can have a different way of structuring data and structuring transactions so that you can get as much scalability as possible.
So consensus runs on these two big algorithms. One of them is this LMD ghost fork choice rule, which is an adaptation of this ghost algorithm that was invented by Yonatan Samoplinski in 2013 to a proof of stake context.
And the main goal ghost proposal on the Bitcoin, and this is written by Aviv and Yonatan, both brilliant mathematicians from Israel. Mathematician.
I'm reading that. I love Ghost, so I'm sure the Spectre is great. Just from the reputation of the authors, but I haven't looked at it. But have you? Is it awesome? Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. So basically, we're just describing Spectre, which is this protocol by Aviv Zohar and Yonatan Samoplinski again. I'm not sure who the other.
A lot of research, and already a lot of very smart people have worked on many variants of consensus algorithms, from slight variants, such as, for example, the Ghost protocol, GOST.
The reason that it's called Casper is kind of interesting. And I don't know if the name means anything to you, but there's a real famous researcher, they're Israeli actually, and they came up with an inherent flaw in proof of stake networks. And this was pointed out back in 2013. And this flaw is called Ghost, the greediest, heaviest observed subtree, or Ghost for short.
As for example, rather than use it would be Satoshi's strongest chain method. He took the Avi Zohar's Ghost protocol from Hebrew University, which is vastly superior.
Adding DAGs. And right here in Israel, for example, there's been a large series of paper by Avi Zohar and Yonatan Samoplinski about things like Spectre, and later the other one was called Ghost. And Ghost came first, then Spectre, then Phantom, where they're saying, can we take traditional mining, tighten the block interval, and somehow deal with the orphans that are a consequence, and the system just works somehow. It's like a DAG versus a regular linked list. And it's a great line of research, and they're publishing papers and so.
And this leads us to this sort of second really important component of EC, which is chain selection. So for chain selections, we sort of follow a simple rule. Forks are bad, convergence is good, and sort of
batching blocks together helps push the blockchain to converge. So we're using a block DAG structure like in Phantom or Spectre so that we make use of all the computation that was sort of, or all the storage that was generated.
So Taraxa operates on a block DAG topology. So this topology was first proposed by a bunch of researchers, Zohar and all. These are the guys that wrote the three pretty famous papers, Ghost, Spectre, and then Phantom Ghost Stat, right? So this topology actually allows multiple nodes on the network to simultaneously propose blocks, without sacrificing security. So they actually did a lot of very interesting research on that.
No one's ready for it. And so scaling prematurely by just ramping up block sizes, unfortunately, it might buy you some time, but it doesn't mean that you're going to be ready for that level of volume. On the other hand, you have the whole DAG and, Spectre and all those sort of technologies which are ready to
work from Avi Zohar and Yonatan Samopinski on directed acyclic graphs, where they started with proof of work in something called Ghost, all the way down to Spectre, down to Phantom. So there's like a series of papers that they wrote. And the basic concept was that in proof of work, if you shrink the block interval, you get faster block times, but you increase the probability of orphan blocks. So ordinary Bitcoin rule is, well, if you have an orphan block, you have a race condition, whichever one you build on top of, that's the chain you go with, you throw away the orphan block. So you lose all that work. With Ghost and Spectre and Phantom, you just throw it on to the chain. You include all of them as long as there's not a double spend. And if there is, there's a way of mitigating that within the protocol. If you follow the protocol and everybody's honest, it's very fast. You get a huge speed improvement.
And then the question we ask is the protocol secure for any latency? So fix lambda, fix the block creation rate, and now devise a consensus protocol that is secure for any D. And we argue that there's no proof of work or indeed no other consensus protocol that has achieved it, and it's in fact impossible to achieve without proof of work.